Good morning and welcome to the Morning Metaphysical Report. Today is January 11th, 2020. My name is Lysander Xanthus, and today I will be sharing with you the day's astrology, numerology, and some other helpful information for your day.
Good morning. I'm the Kitchen Witch, and I am the mysterious voice in the background.
Alright, I like to start each day with a little energy clearing and a blessing. I'm going to use this selenite crystal to send you healing and peaceful energy. I bless you, and I bless your day ahead. May you have clarity today and discover greater self-love. May everyone be helpful today. May your path be clear. And may you have good moments and good company. Be blessed. Now I would like to share the astrology of the day with you. So the Sun, Mercury, Jupiter, and Capricorn are, Saturn and Pluto, are all in Capricorn. I'm not even quite sure what I said. So the influence here is we're being encouraged to become the leaders of our own lives, and it's there's a strong emphasis on organization and self-sufficiency. Mars is in Sagittarius. So we have a real sense of initiative to explore what's really possible for us rather than just looking at what is. Venus is in Aquarius, so we may be feeling more independent in our relationships and seeking new and different ways to be in relationships, especially romantic ones. Neptune is in Pisces, connecting us more deeply with our deeper feelings and intuitions. Uranus is in Taurus, and this is encouraging deep and perhaps even radical changes in your habits and in what has become your comfort zone for you. The moon is in Cancer, so we may be feeling a bit more sensitive, emotional, and either we feel more nurturing or in need of nurturing. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for the feedback, Sandy. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Alright, so those are the planets. Yes. Now the aspects. The moon is in trine with Mars, and so that kind of lends an additional influence of that sense of wanting to explore what's possible for us is being fueled by our deeper emotional needs. So we may be more in tune with our needs as we're exploring what could be for us. and the moon is squared with Uranus. So, while Uranus challenges us and urges us to get uncomfortable, we may be struggling with that, at least at this moment, because the moon has us needing very much to be nurtured, and what is nurturing is often what has been comfortable. There's a way to balance that by seeking comfort in what is truly good for us rather than just what is familiar. All right. Outside of today, tomorrow is the Saturn, Pluto, and Mercury conjunction, just as a heads up, but we will talk more about that tomorrow. And that concludes the astrology for today. So, next is the numerology for today. Today is a 2-day. A 2 vibration is sensitive and doesn't like conflict. The 11th of the month. The 11th breaks down to a 2, but is also a master number. Leave materialism behind you. The vibrations today are highly attuned and very spiritual. Your intuition is strong. Do not force anything and be silent. Make an effort to keep the peace. Let the day flow and make sure you arrive right on time wherever you go. Don't force your opinion on anyone. Be a pure light today because you can truly inspire the people you come into contact with. Well, how interesting. So, now we will be moving into our crystal healing for the day. And I'm going to share with you the crystal in just a moment. So the crystal for today is Kambaba Jasper. Kambaba Jasper is it can have a very calming effect on the mind and promotes inner peace. It reduces fear and increases your feelings of confidence and self-worth, bringing inspiration and courage. And like all jasper, it is known as the supreme nurturer. All right, so you are going to experience the energy of this crystal for yourself in just a moment. If you would like to participate, please make yourself comfortable, breathe, and allow yourself to connect with the energy of this crystal. And I will begin. this concludes the crystal healing with Kambaba Jasper. Let us take a moment to sit in the healing energy that we have received. I believe it, Carla. Channeling the energy of the crystal. Alright, let's move this back here, as I know my microphone struggles. We are going to be moving into the affirmation of the day. This affirmation comes from the book Heal Your Body by Louise Hay, and it is for the stomach or stomach issues. Even if you aren't struggling with this in particular, it's still a useful affirmation. I would like to say this affirmation to you the first few times, so you can focus on hearing it rather than saying the words. But we will also say it together at the end. To take a moment, so I'll be right back. Sorry about that. I'm going to begin. Again, I'm going to say the affirmation to you first a few times, and then we will say it together. Life agrees with me. I assimilate the new every moment of every day. All is well. Life agrees with me. I assimilate the new every moment of every day. All is well. Life agrees with you. You assimilate the new every moment of every day. All is well. Life agrees with you. You assimilate the new every moment of every day. All is well. Now we are going to say it together 3 times. Life agrees with me. I assimilate the new every moment of every day. All is well. Life agrees with me. I assimilate the new every moment of every day. All is well. Life agrees with me. I assimilate the new every moment of every day. All is well. Sit with those words. If you would like, I encourage you to take this affirmation forward with you into your day. This concludes the affirmation. All right. So now is the spiritual / magic tip of the day. And today, my tip pertains to astrology. So this pertains to your personal birth or natal chart. I'm pretty sure they're the same. So when you're observing your own chart for yourself, I've taught in a past report, I mentioned as a tip that when you're familiar enough with your chart and with astrology as a whole, you can start correlating current astrological events to things in your chart and base your rituals on them. So today I'd like to point out, if you look at where your North Node and your Saturn are, there is often a correlation between your Saturn sign and the themes of your Saturn return and the North Node. So the Saturn return is when the planet Saturn makes a full orbit and returns to the sign it was in when you were born. And that takes about 30-ish years. So typically you'll start experiencing the effects or the shift a few years before and a few years after, and of course during. Saturn tends to stay in a sign for about 2 years. So for example, the first Saturn return, you're likely to start feeling the effects and the shifts of that between the ages of 27 and 32. And likewise every 30 years. So the second Saturn return is like from 57 to 62. And then of course, for the long-lived, you can make it to your third one, which would be 87 to 92. And Saturn return is known as a time of turmoil, but it is because it is encouraging us to grow up and to mature, to learn a certain lesson. And it has a way of shaking apart anything that is not actually genuine to your true path and your true nature, regardless of what ideas you had for yourself. So during those years, there can be a lot of upheaval in one's career, relationships, living situation, and so on, especially if you're living against the theme of your Saturn return or your North Node. There's often a correlation because the North Node also pertains to the direction your spiritual growth is meant to go in. It's akin to the idea of destiny, not quite the same. Following your North Node sign is typically going totally opposite of what's comfortable for you as a person. So the North Node has opposite the South Node, which is your comfort zone traits you have very heavily developed in yourself and sometimes too developed. And if you live too much in the South Node, not to be dramatic, but observing that in myself and in people I know, really acting out your South Node traits can really ruin your life a little bit. So it's very important to know your North Node and to challenge yourself to grow into those qualities. And Saturn return is likewise important. I'm very fortunate that I have learned astrology before my first one has hit, so I am doing what I can to kind of grow as a person and be mindful of the choices I've made for myself. Um, so yes, it actually hits technically Saturn retrogrades into my natal sign, so I'll get a brief window of it, and then it goes away again and doesn't officially go into my sign until the end of this year. Yeah, so that's my tip, is that if you're familiar with your chart, observe where your Saturn is and what sign your north node is. Also observe the houses that each of these fall in, because that is relevant as well. And that these two signs have a way of correlating or kind of integrating together, and that ultimately there is a enormous potential for spiritual growth. I know the sun sign is very popular, but to me, and it could just be where I am in my life at the moment, the most important signs you could know about your chart is your north node, and depending on your age, Saturn, where your Saturn is, and what house each one falls in. The house is a reference. Your birth chart is split into 12 sections. Each one is known as a house, and each section represents a different part of your life, and your houses have their own signs as well. So your Saturn sign, your north node sign, and the house they fall into, and the sign that rules the houses they're in. They're not always the same. So that is my magic tip of the day. I know maybe that one's a little more involved, but it is something I think is really important that I've found a lot of value in. So I wanted to share, especially today. Today is Saturday, the day of Saturn. So yeah. Iris says, I really need to order a copy of my birth certificate and find out my birth time. Don't want my Saturn return to catch me with my pants down. Yeah. Indeed. Hey, sweetie. So next, that's my magic tip of the day. So next we'll be moving into the card reading.
What deck are you using today?
I have not picked it yet. Pamela, thank you for sharing. Yeah. Those are, so your sun sign and your moon sign and your rising sign are kind of all different aspects of personality. So it describes like who you are generally as a person. Sun is like your outer personality, like who people perceive you to be. The moon is your inner self, who you experience yourself to be. And the rising sign is kind of your overall personality. So it doesn't really help so much with personal growth, but it is informative. And the way that those things relate to all the other planets is useful information as well. So again, I know rising and sun sign are very popular to share, but I don't think that they're very significant at all, and doesn't really tell me anything about the person.
Oh, pumpkin. Load my computer on,
Okay.
since I'm running the watch party, and Tiffany just got here. We're gonna take the highway up, so we're not gonna do any crazy freeway driving in the snowstorm. Okay. And if it gets really, really bad, I don't want you to worry. We won't drive back. If it's really bad, we'll stay at her sister's house. Okay? So it's like a 50-50 chance it'll pile up tonight. So.
All right. And you're gonna go to the bank.
Yes, we're gonna go to the bank.
Excuse me. My fiance is going on a little trip. for the brief interruption. Alright, so I'm going to be choosing a deck to use for the reading in just a moment. And I will be right back while I pick that. Feeling like this one. Alright. I appreciate your patience. Well, so I've chosen our deck. It is today's reading comes to you from the Nicoletta Ciccoli Tarot. It does look like we have a comment, so I'm going to address that before going into the card reading. Pamela says, anyone know how to get rid of an evil eye? Just found out I have one, got me freaking out. Well, you don't have to tell us. I would ask how it was you found it out, if you got a reading from someone, or what makes you think that you actually have one. Sometimes we can think we're cursed, but we're not really. Or we have done it to ourselves. It doesn't really have to be a big deal. They can cause such enormous havoc in our lives that obviously it can be a bit intimidating. If you want to get rid of it yourself, the most reliable and safest way that I know to tell people who I don't know what your experience level is, say it's someone with no experience, is that I would tell them that every single day you need to have a spiritual practice. So every day you need to set aside the time to ground your energy, to energetically clear yourself. Nothing crazy, just something basic, and you can do several basic things like standing in the sunlight, asking the sun to clear your energy, doing the same with the wind, clearing your energy in the shower. You can use sage. If you use sage, anoint yourself with olive oil afterward, or smudging with any other plant, any form of energy clearing, just something basic, just kind of sweeping stuff out. And the other essential component is practicing psychic shielding. And that's important because it doesn't help you very much to be clearing out your energy every day if you're not stopping more stuff from coming in. So if you do that, no matter what is on you, no matter what attachment you have, it absolutely doesn't matter how big, bad, or serious it appears. If you do that every single day with consistency, grounding, clearing, and shielding, then eventually you will wear down whatever is not good for you, whether it's a curse, a hex, unwanted spell work, unwanted cords and attachments, anything. That is why consistency is so important. It takes, you have to do it every day, and you have to be consistent and persistent. And honestly, most people are not willing to do the work, even though they know they're cursed, which seems pretty ridiculous to me, but they want the easy answer. So that's what I can tell you how you can get rid of it yourself for free. I also can remove things. However, if I read you, I may also tell you that you don't actually have anything on you, or whatever is actually going on with you. The potential is quite limitless. So, because of the nature of it, I do charge a rate for it, but because of the nature of it, and that usually people who are actually cursed tend to have no money, because that's cause usually the curse is pretty effective at ruining people's lives, is that I just help people with that specific type of issue. But that's how you could do it for yourself. And honestly, those are habits that you should have anyway, because not only will it help you get rid of whatever you do have, whether you know about the things you have or you don't know about them, it will also prevent anything else from occurring. So psychic shielding, you can just imagine yourself in a sphere. You can also do other things if you're not super confident in your ability to keep yourself in and keep everyone else out. Personal talismans are very good. So jewelry is the most convenient thing, but it can be anything, any object that you keep on yourself. And it could be a religious symbol that has meaning for you, or a sentimental item like given to you from someone you love, or just something you really like, and imbuing it with the intention of protecting you and making sure you have it on you always. So you are welcome. I'm glad you're willing. Again, might shock some of us, but some people have literally said that sounds like too much work. So I just don't know how to help someone like that. So I'm glad you're willing to do that. All right. Also, I would ask yourself your own sense of ringing true. Do you feel like that this is true, since it seems like someone else told you this? But either way, it's a good habit to have, so it won't hurt you to do that every day. All right, Sandy has a question. Yeah, I bring it up because it's easy, especially if you, I don't know if you are a beginner or not, but if you are, it's a good thing to rely on while you're learning the skills of how to protect yourself. Sandy has a comment. Full moon is a great time to release anything, right? Clear that bad mojo. I like writing something I want to release on a bay leaf and then burning it. Well, I would say rely on your personal sense of what's a good time to do it. I feel the new moon, when the moon is completely black, to be a good time for banishing, releasing, and clearing. And I regard the full moon as a time of things coming into fruition and being born. Those are my personal association to those phases. However, if that has worked for you, then that's all that matters. So I'm just putting out a different perspective and encouraging everyone to feel for themselves when an opportune time for using the moon to release is. Technically, you can do a releasing ritual literally anytime. So I too like writing things down and burning it. I just use paper though. And you could do this literally anytime, so don't wait for the right moon phase or for the planets to be a certain way. Sometimes when you need to get something done in magic, just do it now and screw the rest. Screw where the planets are. I didn't follow the moon phases and astrology for the majority of my practice. I have found it very useful. I didn't used to think it was a helpful thing at all, but I tried it and found that it was good. Yes. Pamela says, yeah, he picked the corner it is in. I feel stuff in corner. Ah, so you're saying it's not in your energy, it's like in your house? That sounds peculiar. Typically, a location being cursed is extremely unlikely. To be honest, it is possible that there's an object that has some kind of weird thing on it. In terms of cleaning your house, this was a tip I was going to share later on in the week, but another magic tip is that the best way to energetically clear your house is to physically clean your house. Sorry to all the people who don't like to clean, including me. So the surest way to make sure that your home is energetically clear is that you have to physically clean it and move all the objects around and disperse all the energy in it and use actual cleaning products like you'd be surprised how well bleach can clear away bad energy. Do it now and screw the rest. Yeah. Alright, bye, love. Alright, she's just dropping it off. Yeah. So, yes. Just kind of yeah, so whatever corner he's talking about, if you feel like there's something weird about it, move all the stuff. Put on your personal talisman before you touch the stuff. And clear this stuff. Maybe you want to think about, is it stuff you want to keep? Maybe you should donate it. Maybe you should throw it away. Clear the stuff, or also physically clean it if it needs to be cleaned. And then reorganize it throughout your house so that there's not a bunch of clutter in the corner. Clutter, energy stagnates around clutter and in corners of rooms. So also having a bunch of stuff piled around is very bad energetically, unless you want to be cleaning frequently. So it can be managed, but you have to physically clean your home and actually move all the objects to disperse the energy. Because I don't know if this is a common term. I've been referring to it this way for so long. I don't know. Miasma builds up in clutter. So, sorry to break the bad news, but the best way to clear your house is physically cleaning it and actually moving all the furniture and all your stuff. Yeah. Nothing does it. Pine Sol is good. Bleach, whatever. You can even make your own tonic, like natural cleaners are fine too. It's like all cleaning solutions. So just don't think you need to double over your house. Like, for example, you clean your house with Pine Sol. It's like, oh, well, now I need to clean it with the spiritually based solution. It's not necessarily the case. You cleaned your house. It's good. Feng Shui is great to apply. I'm not good at interior decorating or arranging anything, so I can't help anyone with Feng Shui. All I know is that cleaning your house helps. Also, yeah, vinegar is good. Yeah. Vinegar, essential oils, intention oils, alcohol-based solutions, bleach, Pine Sol, it's all good. There's no cleaning solution that's like bad. Yeah, sometimes there's just no way to actually clear the funk out except to actually move it. So, Pamela. So I hope those tips help. You may actually come across something that feels kind of weird. Just get rid of it and be sure you energetically clear yourself and the home after doing it. I'm thinking 3 different things at one time, so I'm just trying to... This may sound silly, but I talk to like spirits more than I talk to embodied people. And when you're communicating telepathically, you can like say 5 things at once and communicate entire situations very quickly. So speaking has become more tedious, and sometimes I just have to stop and pick a single thing to say at a time. Okay. Yeah, I'm not a very social person, at least here. So cleaning the house is good. I hope those tips help you. It's not good to assume the worst. If someone tells you you got a thing, double check it. I prefer to, if I find something like that on someone, I offer to remove it. I don't just leave them with the knowledge, hey, you have this awful thing on you. Good luck with that. This concludes your reading. Have fun. Or at least if I can't remove it, I tell them how they can handle it themselves, because I would certainly not like to be told something like that and left to my own devices. Righto. So I hope all that information was interesting to people. I am going to move on to the reading. So I'm going to be doing a tarot reading for you all, giving you insight and guidance into your day ahead. You may find that you parts of the reading resonate for you, or that the entirety of the reading resonates for you. Everyone's a little different. Pamela, I can't really speak about other people's readings too much, because obviously I didn't sense what they sense, but I guess I'm just not sure what to say about that. For an example, with a cursed object, if you remove the energy from it, then it's just an inert object. But, you know, if it gives you peace of mind, cleaning is a good thing to do anyway. And normally I would direct you to my inbox, but I figure that this is information that would be helpful to multiple people, probably. Alright, so we have 4 cards to start. The first card here is the 6 of Cups. This card represents remembering who it is you really are, and that looking back into your youth when you were a child, your childhood, will help reacquaint yourself with who it is you really are, and that sometimes we may need help in doing that. So there may be someone in your life who can help you reflect backwards or get you back in touch with that part of yourself. It could be literally by helping you reflect back, or it could be less literal, where they just by their presence and the way that they are with you remind you of that time or bring out that part of yourself. And I know not everyone had a positive childhood, so what this is pointing out is asking you to reflect back to a time before you learned limitation, before you learned to be obedient and to be a good little girl or a good little boy, to remember the things that you wanted, that excited you, the things that you imagined, who you really were back then, and to know that those parts of yourself are still in you. The next card is the High Priestess. This card talks about deeper knowing, deeper knowledge. You know the truth. So you know the truth of who you are, and you know the truth of what's really going on with the people around you, and the answers to your questions. You know, whether you doubt your ability to know, or you don't trust yourself, or you're afraid of the answer, regardless of all else, if you actually take a moment to be still and look within, you do know what's up. The card after that is the Emperor, the only male card in this deck. This card represents becoming a leader, that you are in a position of power in your own life, and that is up to you to direct yourself. And it is a reminder that, whether you realize it or not, that you are an example for others, that there are others who look to you for answers and look up to you. And the fourth card is the Nine of Cups, and this one's separated from the others. So you can have what you want. You can be blissfully fulfilled if you believe and make a wish. To me, what this card says is allowing yourself to have desires. It's okay for you to want things. Allowing yourself to wish for things, to have dreams, to allow yourself to feel what you feel. The other cards kind of point to how to open this for yourself, access to your feelings and what it is you really want. You know, if you don't even allow yourself to desire things, if you feel like you can't even have wishes, or that it's not okay for you to hope for something, then things won't change, and the things you want won't manifest, because you don't even feel like it's okay to even want it, let alone for it to happen. Feeling like you don't deserve to even indulge the thought, let alone experience its manifestation. I'm going to see if the cards have anything else they'd like to say. Gingerbread bath, indeed. Just one last card, and this kind of emphasizes the earlier point. I just realized that there is still like little dots of candle wax on some of my cards from like a while ago, like a year ago, over a year ago. Alright then. So this is the sun. This also points to being fulfilled, happiness. Joy is yours for the taking. So it's kind of that idea of it's there. You have to you're not even allowing yourself to want it, let alone allowing yourself to have it. But you can have it, and it's there to be had. So that is just a reminder. So that is the card reading for today. All right, Iris. Well, I hope that you have a good time with the meditation. So on my page is the full moon meditation. I've infused the video with the energy of the full moon, so you can watch it anytime, even if it is no longer the full moon and the moon is no longer in Cancer. I also plan on re-recording that meditation to be standalone and not attached to an astrological event as well. So check that out, and I hope you guys like it. Next is our reading for the day. So let us go to that. We are starting a new book today because my box got here. This is All Is Well, and it is by Louise Hay and Mona Lisa Schultz. And this book is structured a certain way, so I kind of need to take a moment to explain the book and how the book is set up and how we will be reading through it. So it's a little more involved than just listening this time around, but it's going to be good. It's going to be good stuff. Unfortunately, the box wasn't the books I was hoping for, but this is a good book. And it was very helpful when we first got it. So, the other author is a doctor. So, she and Louise Hay wrote this together. So this book, I'll kind of go through the table of contents because I find that the best way to sum up a book. So first it talks about integrating healing methods. So that would be allopathic medicine, or the medicine that most of us know, like hospitals, surgeries, pills, doctors, so on. All good, necessary stuff. And combining that with affirmations, the use of intuition, and holistic and alternative methods as well. So using those all together. There's a quiz in this book, your All Is Well self-assessment quiz, where it asks you questions, and we are going to do this quiz. I'm going to make it available on my page as well, so that way while we're reading through this book, you can kind of get more out of it. So that's why it's a little trickier. There's a little quiz telling you where your issues are focused, and they talk a little bit more a perspective of using medicine, whether it's allopathic or holistic. And the bulk of the book goes through the 7 emotional centers. Clue in, these are references to the commonly known 7 chakra points, so like the crown, third eye, throat, heart, sacral, root, etc. They are referred to as the emotional centers here, and each center is associated with a specific list and category of diseases which are associated to certain emotional issues, and it talks about the mindset that created it, the mindset to heal it, some stories about people experiencing those issues and their journey, and how to heal them. So I think this book is fascinating, and I think that we could potentially get a lot of good out of it. It might take a while for us to read through it, but that is okay. Oh, this is an exciting book. So, what else was I going to say? We'll be reading through it a little bit at a time. Obviously, you're welcome to purchase a book for yourself if you want to explore it on your own, or you don't want to wait for each morning report. So, yes, I think that is a good summary. And of course, each day during today's reading, I'll give a brief summary of what it is we're reading, because we have new people jump in all the time. So who knows where they will come in. All right. Now that all that has been said, I am going to read from the first chapter. Trying to decide if I want to actually read the first chapter or to go into the assessment quiz. We don't have time for both. Perspective on using medicine. Alright, very important decision-making time. Chapter 1, 2, or 3. I often skip intros in books, because it kind of like summarizes the whole book that I'm about to read. So I don't always find it that helpful. So there's the quiz, and then so it's either we could do the self-assessment quiz or a perspective on using medicine. For the quiz, you would want like paper and to be able to write things down. So I'm not sure that we're actually prepared to do that. So I think I will read a perspective on using medicine, and I will go over the quiz tomorrow, but I am also going to put the quiz on my page today. So we won't do it during the thing. A perspective on using medicine. So if you want to find the quiz, you'll have to go to my page after the morning report. Everyone wants to take the quiz. Oh gosh. All right, let's do the quiz, because it'll be on my page anyway, and I'm here by myself. My fiance's not here, so I have no reason to leave or do anything. I don't want the morning report to go on forever, though. So during this part, you will need a way of writing down your answers. They're just going to be yes or no answers, so you don't need anything crazy, just a way to keep track of the sections and such. So you will need paper and a pen. So just write yes or no. You don't need to write down the questions, because I'm going to put this quiz on my page later, as well as on Patreon and other places where people are following me. So don't worry, you will be able to refer to the specific questions later. So I would write the title of the section and the numbers for each question, and just yes or no for your ease of reference. So in a moment we will do that. I'm going to read the intro to the quiz. Your All Is Well Self-Assessment Quiz. Louise and I have each worked with thousands of people, and one of the most important parts of this work is our initial intake. Let's just call it a getting to know you process. This process allows us to assess where you stand now with your health and your emotions, and gives us hints about the best way to help you. The quiz in this chapter will guide you in doing the same thing for yourself, and by the time you finish it, you should have a better idea of where to start on your path to healing. There are 7 sections, each with questions covering both physical health problems and lifestyle habits. Answer yes or no to each of these questions. At the end of the quiz, there is a scoring guide to help you evaluate your current emotional and physical health. Then have a close friend take the quiz as though that person were you and compare the scores. It's helpful to get outside perspectives because sometimes we cannot see our own lives clearly. I forgot about that. So y'all can take it now, and the quiz will be on my page later today, and then ask someone you know to take the quiz as if they were you. Yep, you got it, Sandy. All right, section 1, body health questions. One, do you have arthritis? Two, do you have spinal problems, disc disease, or scoliosis? I'm gonna get a cat can. Oh no! She sensed she was being watched. 3, do you have osteoporosis? 4, are you prone to accidents, muscle spasms, or chronic pain? There you go, my sweetie. 5, do you have anemia, bleeding disorders, or a tendency toward viruses or fatigue? Six, do you have psoriasis, eczema, acne, or other skin disorders? Yeah, she did run away. She's in my lap now, though, so it's okay. All right, lifestyle questions. Still under section 1. Lifestyle questions. 1, do you tend to give more than you receive? Be honest, people. Do you have two? Do you have trouble feeling loved by an independent person? 3, when you see someone in pain, do you feel that you have to rescue them? 4, are you not good with group politics, or do you lack social savvy? 5, were you bullied growing up? 6, are you bullied in your current life? 7, does your health tend to suffer during changes in seasons? So like when it goes from summer to fall, fall to winter, winter to spring, etc. 8, does change make you nervous? 9, is the boundary between your moods and someone else's too easily penetrated? 'So having empathic problems, or if someone else, else feels bad, you feel bad. 10. Were or are you the black sheep of the family? 11. Are you the person everyone automatically goes to when they have a problem? 12. Do you tend to burn bridges in relationships after arguments? Oh boy. Let me know if I'm going too fast. You should only be writing yes or no. I know when I took this I had quick little addendums, but you can, keep it super brief. So this is purposely meant to force you to answer yes or no. All right, section 2. Body health questions. Oh, Aresh, sweetie, it's okay. The curtain's closed. It's upsetting her. I'm sorry. There you go. 1. Do you have health concerns associated to your female reproductive organs, your uterus or ovaries, for example? 2. Do you have vaginitis or other vagina problems? 3. Do you have problems with your male reproductive organs, prostate, testicles, or others? Obviously, no matter what, you're going to say no to at least one of these, probably. 4. Do you experience impotence or problems with sexual desire? All right, great. I'm glad the speed is good. Lifestyle questions. It'll all make sense in the end. 1. If you lend money to a loved one, do you have a hard time charging interest? It's okay if you say no. I think it's weird to do that. It's a little bit of a weird question. I don't lend money to someone if I actually expect it back. First mistake. Yeah, I think it's the principle of the question, but it's okay. Yes or no, no judgment. 2. Do you usually go into debt during the holidays? 3. Do you thrive on competition, or do people tend to say you are just a little too competitive? 4. Have you ever broken up a relationship over a career choice? 5. Do you have a lifelong pattern of being overeducated and underemployed? All right. So just section 2. So section 3. You're supposed to charge interest, eek. I know. I forgot about that question, and I reacted exactly the same way the first time. I'm like, really? Is this a measure of self-worth? Just answer the question, whatever. If you answer no, it's fine. I think it's very strange. I don't want to derail by going on a whole tangent about what I think about that question, but let's move along. Section 3, body health questions. 1. Do you have digestion problems such as a peptic ulcer? Or, any kind of digestive issue. Even if it's just like your tummy feels upset after you eat something. 2. Do you have problems with addiction? 3. Are you overweight? 4. Do you have anorexia or bulimia? Lifestyle questions. Aw, Sandy. Hashtag INFJ problems. No, it's good. I didn't want to derail because I think it's... I don't think you should charge interest for a loved one. You're lending to a friend, I guess maybe, but I don't lend money. I would just give it to a loved one if they needed help, because I would never expect the money to be paid back anyway, so I might as well just give it to them and not end up resentful later. That's it. Alright. Lifestyle questions. 1. Do you think it's vain to have a facial? Or, instead of specifically a facial, any other kind of cosmetic beauty regime thing, like a mani-pedi or whatever. 2. Do you tend to attract people who have trouble with addiction? 3. Do you know exactly how much fat there is in your love handle and hip region? There's a point to that question, but I won't get into it now. 4. Do you have compulsive habits, shopping or eating, for example, that you use to calm your nerves? 5. Is your personal style, your fashion, mannerisms, and even your way of speaking behind the times? I'm trying to remember. Just answer the questions. Yeah. So yeah, in terms of question 1, do you think it's vain to have a facial or whatever? That just, yeah, like that. Alright, 4. Section 4. Body health questions. 1. Do you have problems with your arteries or blood vessels? 2. Do you have arteriosclerosis? If you don't know what that is, the answer is probably no. I don't know what that is. If you do, I'm sorry. 3. Do you have hypertension? 4. Do you have high cholesterol? 5. Have you had a heart attack? 6. Do you have asthma? 7. Do you have any breast disorders? Lifestyle questions. 1. How do people often tell you how you are feeling? Yes. Do other people tell you how you are feeling? 2. Have you been told that you are too sensitive? 3. Are your moods sensitive to weather and season changes? 4. Have you cried at work? 5. Do you cry easily? 6. Is it hard for you to get angry at a loved one? 7. Do you have a short fuse? In other words, a quick temper. 8. Do you stay home or away from people because you feel overwhelmed by emotion? Empath problems. Yeah. Just elaborating on it. I don't have that problem. I just like being home a lot. Yes. The comments about personal styles, your fashion mannerisms, or even your way of speaking behind the times. I believe that the intention is to judge how in tune you are socially, or if you're like so oblivious to the world that you don't notice anything and you're not aware of styles and so on, and also like do you change the person or have you been stagnant in the same? So if your style has changed, it's a complicated question. So there's definitely some of these that are kind of weird, honestly. Yeah. I might do another video about surviving being an empath, because we should be in control of our abilities, not the other way around. So one doesn't have to be overwhelmed by emotions. Section 5. Body health questions. 1. Do you have jaw problems? 2. Do you have thyroid problems? 3. Do you have neck problems? 4. Do you often get a sore throat? 5. Do you have other throat problems? Lifestyle questions. This is a long quiz. 1. Did you have trouble following directions when you were young? 2. Do you have trouble following directions now? 3. Is it hard for you to concentrate on cell phones or a speakerphone call? 4. Do you tend to have long arguments or misunderstandings with friends or loved ones over email or chat or internet texting or phone texting? 5. Do you say yes simply to end an argument? Sometimes I can't help. It doesn't even matter what you guys are answering. I just feel like the inclination to stare in a judgmental manner. No judgment, I'm just... those are old holdovers from my sassy gossip days. Like, you know this question's talking about you. I don't know which you it is, but it's talking about you. I did a live Q&A about empaths a few months ago, but I think I should revisit the subject and not as a live Q&A. Alright, where was I? 6. Do you have dyslexia or problems with stuttering, learning languages, or public speaking? 7. Do you communicate better with animals than people? 8. Do people often turn to you to fight their battles for them? Section 6. Oh, Iris. It's okay. We're all working through stuff. Even I have to check myself sometimes about codependent habits. Alright. Section 6. Body health questions. Hold on a second. 1. Do you have problems with insomnia? 2. Do you get migraine headaches? 3. Are you worried about getting or looking older? 4. Do you have Alzheimer's disease? 5. Have you had cataracts? 6. Do you experience dizziness? I'm going to put on some background music very super low. I picked an instrumental that hopefully no one will be able to identify for copyright. Alright. 6. Do you experience dizziness? Oh, what was question 6? I just said it. 6. Do you experience dizziness? Oh, question 6 from section 5, under lifestyle or body health questions. well, probably, well, okay, it would be under lifestyle. So, section 5, lifestyle question number 6. Do you have dyslexia or problems with stuttering, learning languages, or public speaking? All right. Now, section 6, lifestyle questions. Do you, 1, do you have trouble keeping within the word limits on essay tests or in the little boxes on the internet when it says there's a word limit? Do you have problems keeping within the word limits on the little boxes? That's probably more relevant in this day and age. 2, do you have problems with multiple choice tests, quizzes, polls, etc.? 3, is your mind always in the clouds? 4, do you drag your feet when it comes to learning new technology? 5, have you ever experienced serious trauma or abuse? 6, can you feel spirit when you're in nature? Section 7, body health questions. 1, are you experiencing a chronic illness? 2, have you been diagnosed with an incurable disease? 3, do you have cancer? This section's rather specific. 4, is your health so bad that you are on the verge of death? Not to get super serious, but, just answer the questions as best as you can. Lifestyle questions. 1, do you have a driven, indomitable spirit? 2, are you always working, never taking a sick day? 3, are you lost as to what your true life's purpose is? 4, do you tend to have one life or health crisis after another? 5, do most of your friends and family seem to be moving away or leaving you in other ways? All right, that's the last question. Whew, all right, well, to score your quiz, simply count the number of yeses in each section. So there were 7 sections, so write down section 1, 2, etc., and just write how many yeses you had for each section. That's it. So I'll give you a moment to do that before I read the key. So I will also share the key with you today. I will only have the quiz on my page. I'm not going to include the key so that people can answer the quiz without knowing the directive. And then I'll share the key later on or during the morning report tomorrow. This is going to be a long morning report. Well, thank you for sharing, Danielle. You're welcome to share your answers, but there's absolutely no obligation. It's just for you to know. Yes, it looks like some people missed one. Carla, which number 1 question did you miss? Daniel says, what was number 2 for the last section? So let me have a look. It looks like it was under body health questions. So section 7, body health questions, number 2. Have you been diagnosed with an incurable disease? So that's that question. Oh, that's okay. You can just delete your comment. I would copy and paste it maybe, or, I'm not gonna like go through the questions and see what you answered yes or no to. Carla says, I missed number 1. Which number 1? Lifestyle 7. Okay. So, section 7, lifestyle question number 1 for Carla. Do you have a driven, indomitable spirit? All right. So, it looks like we're good on questions. Now we're going to share the key. I'm going to go section by section. So, bear with. This is also going to be a long read, since I will have to read the entire key. All right, so section 1. Everyone, section 1. Danielle, we're counting yeses. How many yeses for each section? That's it. Super simple. So section 1. We are family. The first emotional center. Bones, joints, blood, immune system, and skin. If you answered yes to 0 to 6 questions, so you have 0 to 6 yeses, you are truly at home in the world, and your healthy bones, joints, blood, and immune system reflect this. Your health challenges are likely to be in other areas. If you answered yes to 7 to 11 questions in section 1, you have occasional family problems, and that twinge of joint pain, the frustration of skin problems, or the discomfort of immune system issues will let you know. So make sure to tune in and try to get these things under control before they grow into something much worse. If you answered yes to 12 to 18 questions for section 1, if you answered yes to that many, 12 to 18, brace yourself. It's time to reevaluate how to get family or other group support. You need to focus on the health of the first emotional center, aka root chakra, right away by working to create a more secure life. Go to chapter 4 to learn what changes you can make to help rid you of your bone, joint, blood, immune, and skin problems. Yes. There it is. That's how the book works. So you can go ahead and just put a star next to the sections where you had the highest yes count, and those will be your focuses for the areas that need healing. But we'll talk more about that after going through the key. So let's keep going. Section 2. It takes 2. The second emotional center. Bladder, reproductive organs, lower back, and hips. If you answered yes to 0 to 2 questions, you are truly a powerhouse in your capacity to financially and romantically negotiate your way through life. With your ability to balance love and money, your health challenges are more likely to come from other body regions. If you answered yes to 3 to 5 questions, you have average ups and downs with love and finances. However, that occasional hormonal mood swing or lower back pain may indicate that you need to look for an unstable relationship or financial issue somewhere. Just remember to keep vigilant in your efforts. If you answered yes to 6 to 9 questions, your life has been a struggle over how to handle both financial independence and intimate relationships. Your health challenges with lower back and hip pain or hormonal, reproductive, or bladder problems are likely to help give you intuitive warnings that you need to find a better way to balance money and love. Go to chapter 5 right away to gain insight on how to create this balance. Section 3. Section 3. A new attitude, the third emotional center, digestive system, weight, adrenal glands, pancreas, and addiction. If you answered yes to, so section 2 was the sacral chakra. So section 3, the one I'm reading right now, would be the solar plexus. Just an additional thing. So if you answered yes to 0 to 2 questions in section 3, you have an innate sense that you are lovable and can focus on your own needs, yet you have enough discipline and responsibility to handle a job and meet your responsibilities to others. Take a bow. This is rare. With your capacity to balance your own identity, your challenges are more likely to come from other body regions. If you answered yes to 3 to 5 questions, your occasional struggles with work and your self-esteem are likely to materialize in only occasional problems of indigestion, constipation, bowel irregularity, or weight concerns. So keep an eye out for any growing imbalances in these areas. If you answered yes to 6 to 9 questions, you know you have self-esteem issues. Your lifelong struggle to feel empowered by a career and to simultaneously love yourself is likely to have resulted in illness of your digestive tract and kidneys, or in issues with weight or addiction. Chapter 6 can help you learn important ways to change your thoughts and behavior to lead to health in this emotional center. Section 4. Sweet emotion, the fourth emotional center, heart, lungs, and breasts, aka the heart chakra, Anahata. If you answered yes to 0 to 4 questions, you are one of those rare individuals who can take care of a child, an aging parent, or anyone for that matter, and still manage to keep your wits about you. You were born with a strong mental and emotional constitution. Good for you. If you answered yes to 5 to 10 questions, your heart, respiratory, or breast problems might signal sadness, anxiety, or frustration with a child or partner, but you won't be sidetracked for long. You have resilience and somehow you know how to bounce back. If you answered yes to 11 to 15 questions, watch out. Your lifelong struggle managing your emotions in your relationships can make life seem like a soap opera or bad reality show. Sometimes you may want to run away and live in a monastery just to get away from it all. But your health is within reach. Check out Chapter 7 to see what you can do to heal yourself. Section 5. Something to talk about. The fifth emotional center, mouth, neck, and thyroid, aka the throat chakra. If you answered yes to 0 to 4 questions, congratulations on your impressive communication skills. You know how to express your own needs and listen to the point of view of those around you. You know yourself and how to be strong and empathetic at the same time. Good for you. If you answered yes to 5 to 8 questions, you have only the occasional disagreement with friends, children, parents, coworkers, or your partner. And even though you lock horns, your conflict doesn't last long, and neither do the health problems that tend to develop in your neck, thyroid, jaw, or mouth. When a communication style isn't working, you will temporarily get neck or jaw tightness or dental problems that will quickly help you reevaluate a better way to communicate. 9 to 13 questions, if you answered yes to that many. You probably don't need to hear this from us, but you've had a lifelong struggle to feel heard and understood by others. You've also had problems listening to those around you. It's important that you learn to communicate while being aware of all sides of a situation, peacefully having a voice and simultaneously hearing. Chapter 8 will set you on the right path. Section 6. Suddenly I see. The sixth emotional center, brain, eyes, and ears, aka the third eye or mental chakra. If you answered yes to 0 to 3 questions, how do you do it? You are one of those rare individuals who is born with a stable mindset and doesn't tend to struggle with the unknown. Call it faith, or call it traveling through life on autopilot. It doesn't matter. You've learned not to struggle and you gracefully adapt to the changes in life. your health problems are probably not to be found in the brain, eyes, and ears. If you answered yes to 4 to 8 questions, you have only the occasional problem struggling with pessimism and narrow-mindedness about the future. However, an inner voice eventually tells you that your mind is not your friend, and the headache, dry eyes, or bout of dizziness that occurs when you are in a pessimistic funk will soon get your attention and force you to look at your world with a healthier perspective. If you answered yes to 9 to 12 questions, take a deep breath. The cause of your problems is your lifelong struggle to clearly see and hear the world as it really is. You need to widen your scope of perception, making your mindset more adaptable and flexible. By being open to how life flows and releasing your expectations about how you think life should be, you can create better health in your brain, eyes, and ears. Learn more about this in Chapter 9. This includes hearing issues, being nearsighted, farsighted, or any other kind of not being able to see clearly or hear clearly. It's not just literal, it's metaphoric. Section 7. Changes. The 7th emotional center. Chronic and degenerative disorders and life-threatening illnesses, aka the crown chakra. If you answered yes to 0 to 2 questions, you are at a stable point in life. You've watched other people suffer health disasters, but you've remained healthy. Congratulations and keep it up. If you answered yes to 3 to 5 questions, you have only the occasional medical issue. Your faith may have been tested on those few times when you got the painful medical results back from the doctor. Since you've had these experiences before, keep an eye out for anything your body may be trying to tell you before it gets to the point of dealing with these dramatic situations again. If you answered yes to 6 to 9 questions, don't worry, you have company. You've known for a while that you need help. You meditate, pray, and have an array of medical support people to help guide you through the crisis. However, you are worn down. To have a better life, you need to examine how to change and grow in partnership with divine spirit and to reconnect with your sense of greater purpose. Join us for the adventure in Chapter 10. Now that you've evaluated your current situation, let us take the next step to create health together. And at that point, we would read the rest of the book. So there you are. That is the quiz and the key. So be sure to note your main areas of concern. For those of you who work spiritually, the places where you scored highest are you are likely to have blocks energetically in those chakras. The quiz will be available on my page later today, as I've already said. And we will continue reading this book tomorrow. So tomorrow we are going to read Perspective on Medicine. And then after that we'll start reading through the chapters addressing each chakra or emotional center. One chapter at a time in order. So from 1 through 7. So I expect to be reading this book probably for about 3 to 4 weeks. If you're interested, obviously you're welcome to get this book for yourself if you don't want to wait, but we will read it all on the Morning Metaphysical Report a little bit at a time. Alright, so that concludes the reading for today. It is very illuminating, even though the chakra system isn't how I personally perceive the energy system. It's still useful, and it's still a very useful way in which to engage healing and to address various types and categories of issues. I'm glad everyone enjoyed the quiz. So if you enjoyed the Morning Metaphysical Report today, please like, follow, or subscribe to my page or channel so you can continue seeing the morning report. And we will be reading through this book a little at a time. So if you'd like to continue hearing more from this book, especially as we go through the chapters that address the issues in each section, especially the ones you scored in, and learning more about the perspective of those issues and how to heal them, continue to join me here, and we will get to it all in time. And you will also continue to see the morning report each morning if you follow my page or subscribe to my channel, depending on where you're watching this. Content like this is possible due to support from viewers like yourself, and I deeply appreciate all contributions and support that we do have. You can send one-time contributions through my PayPal link, which is in the description of the video. Or you can visit patreon.com and join a monthly membership. That's a little more fun for you because you get access to exclusive content and special privileges, and there's potential for other rewards in return for your support. The lowest membership is $1 a month. So I really hope that you'll choose to join us on the journey. There are some goals we're working towards that we will be able to accomplish when we reach our pledge goals. The first one is a certain amount a month for us to begin replacing our equipment. Sound is our #1 complaint, so we will be replacing the mic, getting different lighting, and some of the cameras at that time, as well as eventually acquiring software for video editing. The current program I use is a free program, but it doesn't allow me to actually, what's it called? Like clip scenes and so on. So obviously there's never any obligation. This is entirely informative, and we would just be really happy to have you. A special benefit that members get is being added to our private Facebook community, Rainbow Bridge, where we are teaching private material, and I share special discounts and other things there. And it's not discounts for like even my products, but it's like for other things that are of use, like planners and books and so on that I come across. I share that with you, and there's some downloadable files and articles and so on. And there will be more as time goes on. Some of the exclusive content that only patrons can watch is my paranormal investigation footage, tarot tutorials, some kitchen witch videos. Going forward, I'm going to be doing special healing sessions for my patrons, like once a month, to give you a regular tune-up on your energy. So that'll be for patrons only of a certain level and above. So yeah, I think that's all I want to say about it. You can check out the link, patreon.com/freedomdreamcoaching, in the description. The tag is on screen, and you can find out all about us, what we're working towards, and the reward system. We have a comment from Carla. I feel like it released some weight off of me. That's wonderful. Sometimes just becoming aware of your issues is enough to shift energy. That might sound incredible, but it is true. Just being aware and knowing what is going on inside yourself is enough to start the change and to actually create a real shift in your aura. So I'm so glad to hear that. Well, I'm going to draw the morning report to a close. I would like to thank everyone for joining me today. And it's been a pleasure, as always. So I hope you have a wonderful day and a good weekend. Oh, one more thing. The event for knowing about yourself, the Kitchen Witches event about her spiritual coaching has been moved to tomorrow. Something came up. So I apologize for that. Just a FYI for anyone who didn't notice the update on the event page. Alright. I will see you all again soon. Have a wonderful day and be blessed.